Ciao ragazzi, hope everyone is doing well. My name is Anthony and you are tuned into another edition of the Inter Worldwide podcast. And man, it is going to be a jam-packed show tonight. Plenty to talk to. We'll be bringing in a few people as well, as you can see in the title of the video. So if you are one of the first 7 people that are here right now, please like the video and let us know who you are and where you are. There'll be a few regulars, I'm sure. We are going to run through a lot, but ragazzi, what I did want to do was just to give a big shout out to the couple of people that wrote in some nice messages. So we've got my boy Steve from Milan as well, who has, born and raised in Australia, but has been living there for the last 3 years. He says, ciao guys, Inter Worldwide is a fantastic project. We really appreciate what you guys do. It's awesome to hear English speaking Inter fans. I just wanted to let you know that the environment is still calm here in Milan. So I did want to say that and shout out to Steve from Milan. It was a really nice message. Before I bring in everybody's guests today, I want everybody to drop their thoughts below in this comment or in any of our socials what you do think of the appointment of Simone Inzaghi. The dust is starting to settle a little bit and the excitement is starting to spring in. So without further ado, a couple of minutes in, let's bring in our first guest, Christian Rivas. My boy, looking fly as always repping some good merch and some frame merch in the background. How you doing, brother?
I'm okay. Another damn paradise. Excited to get this conversation going with my 2 favorite guys.
Yeah, 100%. We got to bring in that second guy right now. It's Bruno with the finest whiskey collection in Gregory Hills. Maybe a little bit more than Gregory Hills as well. What's going on, G? Looking good.
Mate, it's been a roller coaster, but just like Christian, paradise. You know what? Scudetti champions. Let the news say what they want to say.
Yeah, so I'm going to start this show because we've got a lot to talk about by asking Christian, with all the negativity that's going on this week, are you still vibing, man, about being Campioni? Are you still satisfied, or is it really starting to wear off with all the changes?
So, I sat there and I really started evaluating a lot of things in the last few days. I've been stressed out with a lot of personal stuff going on too, but sat there and thought about it, the whole Conte thing. Some people have started making sense. Like my boy Franco in our group chat, if you're not part of it, you can hit us up, join. There's a lot of good conversation that goes in there between Andrew, Tom, and Franco and all the guys in there. He brought up some good, valid points in there. At the end of the day, Conte was always going to leave. It wasn't just a matter of if, it was more of a matter of when. He does this everywhere. Same on ESPN FC, they were talking the same thing. They're like, yo, here we go again. You did it with Juve. You did it with Chelsea. Now you're doing it with Inter. It's kind of your reputation. Even before then, it was your reputation with Atalanta too. So it's just something that you've gone through your whole career. Not everybody. Maybe the move to Madrid is right for him. Maybe it is because we all know Perez likes to spend money, and that's exactly what Conte likes to do. So tip my hat to him. Thank you for the Scudetto. I appreciate it. We're in a situation now where we really got to sit there and kind of deal with the economic blow for at least a year or two, and then we'll be right back in where we were before. And I'm okay with the Inzaghi appointment, just to state it.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit more about Inzaghi's appointment. The photos were released of him having a little bit of a verbal spat with Lotito in the car park. I thought that was pretty funny. It looked pretty Italian as well. But, it's done and dusted now. And with a manager, without changing our strategic style too much, Bruno, what are your initial expectations of Simone Inzaghi coming in to coach Inter?
Look, firstly, I think that just following on from what Christian said, this was probably the most amicable split that Conte has had with the club in a very long time. I think the worst comments he made was he dedicates this Scudetto to himself. I think that was probably the worst comment that guy made. But other than that, it was a peaceful departure. And I think Marotta's had the wheels going on this for a while. And you look at the team that Conte built, and it was a team to win the Scudetto. Now, we were accused of being too defensive. At the end of the day, we won the Scudetto. You do what needs to be done. I think we spoke yesterday on the phone, Anthony, and I said to you, we said to each other, Inzaghi coming to Inter from Lazio is like he's gone from Serie C to an all-you-can-eat buffet with the players he has at hand. And if he can do what he did with Lazio, with Inter, I think he'll have a lot more success. And one of the main key factors is the difference between Conte and Inzaghi is Inzaghi's brand is a lot more attacking. And the reason Lazio struggles so badly with this brand of football is you look at their defense. Now, if Inzaghi brings that attacking mentality to Inter, well, you look at our defense. We've got Skriniar, De Vrij, and Bastoni, three of the most, if not the best, I'd say out of those three players, they've definitely been the top five in the Serie A, right? Defensive-wise. So at the end of the day, you've got them three there. Inzaghi can have free reign playing that attacking style of football. But instead of having, Parolu as a backup, you've got D'Ambrosio, he's got the team there. So I'm not too upset with it. Conte came, and it's sort of like the whole Spalletti thing. He came for 2 seasons. We replaced him with Conte, but Spalletti achieved what he was there to do. He got us to Champions League. Now, Conte in 2 seasons got us the Scudetto. But we saw what Inzaghi did with Lazio in the Champions League. He got them out of the group, which Inter has failed to do the last 4 seasons. So, you know what? At the end of the day, if he can apply half of that, and he's got the luxury of being in pot A, pot 1, so everything's falling into Inzaghi's hands. And if you look at Inzaghi, the team he's had at Lazio, on paper, he's got some fantastic players, but look at the trophies he's brought the club as well, right? He's got Supercoppa Italias, Coppa Italias with that team. So with the team that's worth a lot more than the Lazio team, I'm sure he can do a lot with it, even if we do have to make some saves.
Yeah, no, well said, man. Well said. Back over to Nostradamus. In terms of the personnel that Simone Inzaghi could acquire straight away, do you think we could see anybody come in our direction, whether or not it's a former player of Simone? Do you see anybody being targeted?
Honestly, Marotta already pretty much made it clear cut. This offseason is going to be a selling offseason. I really don't see us buying anybody. If we do, he said he only wanted Luis Alberto. He didn't say he wanted anybody off at all. He just wants Luis Alberto. That's a far better demand than what Conte's wanted. Conte's wanted at least 3 or 4 players to his caliber. Also my thing with Inzaghi is he's a very heavy possession-based tactician. He likes to hold the ball. He likes to attack. Even against us, he sat there and attacked us nonstop. He didn't care. He just kept going. Again, he pretty much went from a Ford Pinto to a Ferrari. Here's the keys to a Ferrari, my man. Enjoy the Spider. Go do what you got to do. And like you touched on, he has a great defense already. Backups, he's got great backups. He's really not going to have to do anything. Again, I think we're going to sell more than we're going to buy. If we buy, it'll be one and done, and that's it.
Yeah, so moving on from that question.
Get us more trophies.
That would be great. That would be fantastic. Now that he has come in, and now that we know that space needs to be sacrificed, let's talk a little bit about personnel that are going to be departing the club. Now, we all know that it's going to be at least one big player, at least one. It's just a question of who that real big one is. There's a lot of different opinions that flow around. I, for one, really, really don't want it to be Hakimi. I really don't want it to be Hakimi. It looks like it could be Hakimi. I'm not too sure. I, for one, would entertain the conversation of letting go of Romelu Lukaku because it would fix almost all of our financial issues with one sucker punch. But other than that, I'm not really sure about where it's going to come from. So I'll stick with Christian for the first couple of minutes about personnel going out and raising funds, and then I'll go over to you, Bruno. So, Christian, over to you.
Okay, so if we're going to start off, I'd want to get rid of a lot of the dead weight. I'd want to get rid of your Joao Marios, your Lazaros, your Salceros. I know a lot of people were saying to say bring him back from Hellas Verona. He really wasn't as great as you guys make him out to sound. Like, no, you're not going to bring this guy back to replace Lukaku. So for me, I agree. Lukaku should be the one to get sold, just for the simple fact that his age, he's already in his late 20s. I think we're not going to get as much production from him like we did from Conte. So a player at his age and his reputation, one bad season and he goes from 100 million euros down to 60. Another injury or something slight, another bad season or slow start, he goes from 60 to 30. So his value will decrease a lot quicker than Lautaro, in my opinion. Lautaro is still 21, 22, and he still has such a big upside. I would rather sacrifice Lukaku over Lautaro. But I wouldn't want to sacrifice anybody in the strike force for the simple fact that all we have up top is Lukaku, Alexis, Lautaro, Piemonte. You sacrifice one, you're down to 3. Inzaghi plays with two frontmen. Your other substitute going to be Piemonte for the season, including Champions League. It's not going to work. So you're going to have to spend and go and buy another forward. Why would you want to buy another forward? Just stick with the 4 and look at other positions. Now it comes up with the whole thing, people saying sell Perisic. You don't sell Perisic. It makes 0 sense. Get it out your head. You cannot afford to sell Perisic for the simple fact he's your only true left wing back. You have Ashley Young leaving. So you went from 2 to 1. Everyone says Darmian. Okay, Darmian is actually a right back that's playing left back because we don't have nobody to be in that position sometimes. So you got to sit there and start breaking the positions down. On the right wing, I hate to say it, I can understand why you sell Hakimi. You sell Hakimi, you can insert Darmian, and you re-sign D'Ambrosio to back him up. We've seen it time and time and time again, D'Ambrosio step up. Do I want to sell Hakimi? No. But it's going to be about a good 60 million plus Paredes. I saw somebody say Florenzi. Newsflash, Florenzi went back to Roma. Paris didn't buy him. PSG does not own him. He's a loanee. He went back to Roma. So Florenzi is out of the picture. So in order for Paris to get Hakimi, Inter already made it crystal clear. We're not even going to sit at the table and talk unless it's 70 mil at the minimum. And that's just a starting point. We want 90. All right? You're looking at 90 mil. You're going to have to get it from somewhere. You got 60 mil and you get a player like Paredes, value about 30, 40 mil. You can put whatever number you want on there and boom, you have your 100 million. Do I want Hakimi to leave? No, I feel he's key. But you look at your other options. The only other player I would see leaving would be De Vrij. De Vrij, again, because of the whole situation with his agent, I don't like it. I don't agree with it. I don't want him to leave. But that's the only other one I can see that will try and force a way out. I don't want him to leave. Believe me, I don't want to touch that back line. And even when you look at the dead weight, Joao Mario, you're not getting more than 15 million euros for him. You're going to get maybe 12 to 14.
He's going to go to Sporting Lisbon, bro. If the reports are correct, Sporting Lisbon are looking to just drop 8 and make it a clean sale.
And honestly, 8 million is a deal considering we haven't been able to offload this guy. You want to get rid of him? You're getting rid of him. 8 million plus you're getting rid of his wages. So there you go. That's one done deal. You're at 8 million now. DeMarco, you could sit there and charge 15 to 20 mil just for a simple fact that Jury wants him and he's at Torino. So Torino's going to want to sit there and try to make him be happy. So let's just hypothetically say you're going to get 20 mil for him. All right. You're at 28 million. Lazzaro, his transfer value is no more than 10 million. All right. You're going to, let's just say hypothetically you get 10 million. That's 38 million. Raja, you're going to get 5 million. That's it. All right. You're not getting more than that. So now you're about 43 million. Esposito, he's going to end up getting redeemed by Venezia, who just got promoted. And we also get a small bonus because Venezia got promoted. So let's just hypothetically say we're getting around 50 mil at that point. You're still not at the 100 mil you want to be. You're still not there. So it's one of those things like somebody's got to go. Where are you willing to lose and where are you willing to gain from? All right, you can't afford to sell a striker. You can't afford to sell a forward. So now you got to start looking at your other departments. You go to your midfield. You can sell Vecino because Napoli are supposedly in ties with him. All right, you see, you can sell your Vecino. Sensi, he's the only creative player you got outside of Ericsson. So, what do you want to do? Unless you're guaranteed you're getting Luis Alberto. Regardless of what you say, dude, name another creative player we have right now that can play in the number 10.
No, you don't have another creative player, but Sensi's unreliable.
He's unreliable, so you also got to remember something. Since he has a lot of injuries, how much money do you think you're going to get for him? Nobody's going to sit there and take a risk and give flat-out cash. They're going to do a dry loan for maybe 1 to 2 mil with an option to buy in case he gets hurt. Then they're like, well, he was already hurt. Here, take him back. All right? Brozovic might be your best bet, but who are the suitors? I'm yet to hear any ties for Brozovic. If you can find one, cool. Let me know. But then again, you go back to that situation. Who are you putting in that position? Who's taking his spot? Gagliardini? Okay, who's backing Gagliardini up? Who's his backup?
Vidal.
But there you go again. People want to sell Vidal.
We can't. I look at it like this, right? We need to make money, and we need to make money quick, right? Now, you're not going to make money from Kolarov. You're not going to make money from Vidal. You're not going to make money from Vecino, Gagliardini, and anything like that. And we all know Gagliardini's going nowhere now, especially considering Inzaghi has come to Inter. Inzaghi looks at Gagliardini and wanted him this whole time. Now, you're spot on. I think decisions cannot be made until the completion of our Euro campaign, because you've got a whole lot of players who are playing in the Euros. Now, if Lukaku goes out there and Belgium win the Euros and
his price
and he's the star,
like
his price goes up, and we see it every time. There's that one player who just flies up out of every competition, and if he has that gun competition, it's okay, well, let's get rid of him. We can ask what we want now. And if the rumors are true about Conte going to Real, well, they've got an open checkbook and Conte will want him. But in saying that, if we're talking now, I think our best bet is Hakimi, because you look at what right before we signed him, well, when we did sign him, Dortmund didn't want to redeem him and Real Madrid didn't want him back. So that says something about him as well. Now, I don't know, it's because the pressure that Conte put on the player as an individual, and he improved and he fit the system so well that he performed, but his performances got better as the season went on. He started and it was dreadful. And I said the day that he had that false positive COVID result, us playing Damian, a man who was probably never going to see the pitch this season, us playing him was our godsend. And he ended up being clutch D'Ambrosio in a lot of the things. So if we lose Hakimi, we've got backups. We've got 2 very solid backups and 2 backups that I could see rotating every week, right?
Proven backups.
And exactly, proven backups. Damian, week in, week out, still don't. I think it's sacrilegious the guy didn't get called up to the international squad with the performance he's had for Inter. And you've got D'Ambrosio, who has been the killer of that position. Anyone we've signed to fill in that position, well, he's shot. In the midfield, the only players we're going to make money off are Brozovic and Eriksen, right? Because we're not going to sell Barella. We're going to make money, but we wouldn't sell him, right? Sensi, you're not going to get the money, right? So you've got Eriksen and Brozovic. Are we going to – who can we replace them with, right? Now, Vecino, I reckon's off altogether. He's off limits altogether for the simple fact is –
Spalletti wanted him, though. Spalletti supposedly at Napoli wants him. So, again, it's one of those
No,
things
but my idea is
manager.
Yeah, but at the same time, my idea is he's played well. We're going to be competing in 3 competitions because we know Inzaghi takes all the competition seriously. He's not a Conte where I'll sacrifice A and B to win C. So if we need proven players, and although it was only a couple of games, Vecino was on fire. Even though it means nothing, we scored 13 goals and absolutely dominated the last couple of games. But at the same time, he's proven himself time in and time again he can play, right? So when it comes to Champions League or when it comes to Copa, we've got that player who can get in there. And why would we sell him if we need to find someone else to come into that position, right? We're not getting top dollar, right? It's not like a Politano sale where we're getting 20, 25 million. The guy's just come back from a season-long injury. So
You'll probably
I think
get 15, maybe. And that's
if that, but is it worth it when his wages are low and we've seen he's got the relationship with the team? Now, 5 days ago, Hakimi, Fabrizio Romano came out and said that Hakimi wants to stay at Inter, right? That's his plans. And he made it very clear in one of his celebrations. He's pointing at the club. He's pointing at the badge. And I can tell you now, the players knew Conte was leaving before that last fixture, right? The players knew. Everyone knew. I think this happened following the derby, right? The Inter Milan derby. That's when we knew the decision was made. That the backroom stuff, right? He got sacked. They didn't leave mutually because if he wanted to leave, we would have said go. We don't need to pay him $7.5 million.
Mm-hmm.
He got sacked, and we needed him off the books. And $12 million a season. This season's going to cost us a bit because we paid him the $7.5 and we got Inzaghi. But for the next couple of years, Inzaghi is the cheaper option.
Even then, it's still cheaper than what we were paying him. It was
100%.
$7 million, and then you're paying $4 million for Inzaghi. So you're still saving yourself about 1 million, 2 million euros. So
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is,
money.
we knew he was leaving, and the players knew he was leaving. I think the nail on the head, Anthony mentioned it earlier. Can Lukaku maintain this? Can he maintain this? Because the last 20-goal season player we had, Icardi, caused too many problems. But Icardi was a poacher. The balls were coming left, right, and center into that box, and he was there to tap them in. Lukaku has to create, and Lukaku has been utilized in a way that I'm surprised he never got injured. I'm surprised he didn't miss 5-6 weeks, because if he did, we're not champions, right? And at the end of the day, yeah, he could have scored a lot more and he sat on 19, but he scored the bulk of his goals when we needed him to score, right? At the start of the season where we built that momentum. But can he maintain that? 1. 2, when's his value going to start to decline due to age, right? And we need to sell him at his peak. We're not. If we sell Martinez now, it's going to be another Coutinho, right, where we lose big money, right? But at the same time, Lukaku has been phenomenal. Will he fit in Inzaghi's plans? 1. 2, maybe a return. Yeah, Lukaku did poach brilliantly as well, but he created a lot more. His goal involvements was 30 plus. He created many assists, and he was defiant, right? 30 plus goals in a season between assists and goals scored. You don't see that anywhere. Like Lewandowski scored 41 in a league where he's scoring non-stop. But I feel if Conte loves Lukaku that much, Perez will flash his wallet. He'll take him to Madrid. Perez will give him the money to get him, because at the end of the day, 100 to 110 mil for Lukaku is still cheaper than 150 for Mbappe, right? Or 140 for Haaland, right? And out of all of those players, Lukaku performed better out of all of them. The only difference is age, right? So you've got that there. You've got 2 international tournaments in the space of 2 years where the majority of the Inter squad will be there. So revenue raising wise, we'll be able to make some profits if need be. Stadiums are going to be reopening. So we're going to be getting some form of income from that as well. But I feel, like you said, Christian, Hakimi is probably the most viable player who will bring us the most profit, and we will hurt the least if he was to leave. But at the same time, it's up to him as well. Does he want to leave? Whereas Brozovic, completed his mission. He achieved the goal. I've won the Scudetto finally, right? I can't see him going to another Italian team. I can see him leaving, getting a payday, potentially in the Prem. I hear Arsenal are looking to reinforce their entire squad. But yeah, I think exactly. 75, 80 million for a right back. We can replace him 3-4. We don't need to replace him. That's
yeah,
where
but like at the end of the day, I get what you're both saying, but let's just remember before Hakimi, we're still trying to replace Maicon. So the frustration for the Inter fans is very, very valid. We've been looking to fill a fullback position properly for a decade. Left side, right side. Yes, D'Ambrosio comes in and benches these players, but he's not consistent or dominant enough, not to the level that Hakimi was.
But the problem
so I get why Inter fans and myself included, are very frustrated that we'd only get one season out of him.
So the problem with that is, you guys are expecting Maicon. You're not going to get Maicon. All right? Hakimi isn't even Maicon. Because even then, Maicon defended better than Hakimi, just to make it crystal clear. Maicon was a two-way
he's only
player.
spent a year in Serie A, though. I get it, but he's only spent a year and he was adapting well.
My point is this. Don't get me wrong. I love Hakimi. I would love to keep him. But if you're selling somebody, you got to look at where you're not going to hurt yourself the most. I mean, unfortunately, if it was up to me, I wouldn't sell the kid. And I'd get rid of Brozovic and sell a bunch of the dead weight. And then I'll get to my 80 mil that way. That's how I would get me personally. But again, that's with me feeling that I'm comfortable enough to have Gagliardini play that position day in and day out. Because no offense, with Inzaghi, Eriksen's moving to the 10. He's not going to be box to box no more because Inzaghi does play with a number 10. And Luis Alberto is nice, but he's not on Eriksen's level, in my opinion. That's just my personal opinion. So
there's a few comments here and there. Go on.
All right, that commenter, sell Lautaro and buy Correa, you're crazy because you guys sit there and talk about Lautaro being inconsistent. Correa is definitely inconsistent. When you sit there,
I wonder what Correa is talking. I wonder if he's talking about Joaquin or Angel. Joaquin Correa?
He's talking about Joaquin. He's talking about Lazio Correa. Yeah, that is the definition of inconsistency. Couldn't hack it at Atletico. Barely hacks it at Lazio off the bench. Now you want him to come and start at Inter?
Half season, just like Han said.
Rush 10 years, right? We might as well go back 5 years then. Because I don't even think he holds Palacios boots, bro. Like, let's just be real.
In terms of comparing players as well, I can't even compare Hakimi and Cancelo, to be honest. I like Cancelo, but Hakimi shits on Cancelo anyway. But Cancelo's had a good season in England. Don't get me wrong.
That's good for England. He was always going to succeed in England. They don't defend over there.
Yeah.
Cancelo was trash. Absolute trash at Inter. He was benched by D'Ambrosio, and they tried to move him to the left. He cried like a little girl about it. And then D'Ambrosio said, you know what? Just to make you happy, I'll go to the left.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think I just can't. And like you said, they don't defend in England. And that's why Damian, we got him for a bargain. Because at the end of the day, Damian, I think if you put Damian and Hakimi side by side, Damian will rate 7 every single game he played, whereas Hakimi will rate 9 and 10, and then 4 and 3, and then 9 and 10. So Damian was extremely consistent, but he was very defensively minded as well, and that's what Hakimi liked. And towards the end of the season, we saw it. But again, yeah, as an Inter fan, it's heartbreaking. We brought this player to this club. He's done extremely well for us. We won a Scudetto, and you can't say he won it for us, but his contribution definitely played a big part in it. But at the same time, we don't sell him, and we sell, we could be selling Lukaku instead. We'll suffer a lot more, right? We will definitely struggle, and we'll definitely suffer a lot more. Whereas you're looking at Hakimi, who all right, $80 million. How much more can that total get? Right? How much higher can that number get for a right back? All right.
Yeah.
That figure cannot increase that much more, because I don't think it would be breaking records if we're hitting 100 million, right? So at the end of the day, you got to think, all right, well, if we get rid of one player where we've got two players who can fill that position, and we cover all of our losses, well, at the end of the day, I want to get rid of that player, right? And then you know what? I bet you come 12 months' time, Lukaku might leave, but we'll be in a 10 times better position financially. And I just go back to the point. If we had Allegri, if we had Zidane, we wouldn't be selling Hakimi, right? Nope. But we've seen what Inzaghi's done with Lazio. He doesn't need to apply himself half as much with the Inter squad to achieve just as much. That's where I look at it. I look at the manager and I look at, all right, well, Damian and Hakimi, the same thing's going to be expected of them from Inzaghi. So I think definitely he should go. In regards to Brozovic, I think he should definitely go, because if you look at the way Inzaghi manages, his first point of substitute, not just that, his first point of substitute is, if you've got a yellow, you're off. So Brozovic and Barella are going to get substitute every single game, and we can't afford to have a player like that. Whereas Gagliardini is a lot more conservative, and I think that's why Inzaghi was drawn to him, especially with the 5 substitutes. And I'm not sure, has it been confirmed we're carrying this on to next season?
I think it is.
I believe we're carrying it through to the World Cup, because they want 5 substitutes in the 1,000-degree heat of Qatar. But I feel that with the 5 substitutes and Inzaghi coming in and the way he manages, you get a yellow, you're getting substitute. So Barella's getting substituted every second game because he's told the ref to fuck off. You've got our backline surprisingly don't get that many yellows. Vidal, if he plays, is getting a yellow every single game, getting substitute. Brozovic is the same player. He will go in and break your legs because he does not want you getting to the defense, which is great, but the way Inzaghi manages will frustrate the hell out of Brozovic. Gets a yellow card in the 50th minute while you're coming off in the 51st. So I feel Brozovic will probably be the best, but we're not getting 80 million, right? I think Hakimi will get us our 80 million, and Brozovic will allow for us to spend on something else.
I think, though, that if we really legitimately don't want to sign anybody and we want to build on what we have, or at least maintain, you sell Brozovic and then you try and get rid of your dead weight. All right? You'll hit your 80 mil because Brozovic is going to go to England, and to go to England is going to command a 50, 60 million euro operation. That's just what it is. For a good midfielder, that's what it's going to cost you. And a team like Arsenal or Chelsea or somebody like that will pay that money. So, I could see it happening. I could see Brozo being the one to be sacrificed. But, again, Hakimi is just in that position that we have people that could just take charge from there. That's the only reason I personally hope it doesn't happen. I personally hope it's Brozovic. Don't get me wrong. I've always been a Brozo fan, but it's the right time for you to go. It's time to move on. Yeah. It's time you do you, we do us. Thank you for helping us get to where we are. He deserves all the respect from Inter fans, even though he got that handball against Sampdoria a couple of years ago. But he still deserves a lot of respect for us. And again,
I wanted to keep this comment up on the screen and just allude to it before we move on, because it is a good one. What worries me most is the question, is this 80 million a one-time thing, or do we need to raise it for the next 3 summers to cover this loan from the fund?
This has nothing to do with the loan, if I'm not mistaken.
No. So financial fair play was put on hold due to COVID. Now, financial fair play is coming back into the mix of things. And 80 million, we've had the exorbitant wage gap where we haven't been able to pay wages. Other clubs have done the same thing, but Inter were very public about it, and Inter were the furthest behind. 80 million is because we haven't had any gate revenue as well. So there is a lot of loss there. So 80 million is partial to as well. We've got Lukaku payments and Hakimi payments and Barella payments that also need to be made as well to their clubs.
I think that's what the 275 million was. It was to pay off the debts that the club was in. So if I'm not mistaken, our club is in 675 million euros debt. All right, we're going to talk a little bit of the finances right now. So you're 675 million in debt. You take out a loan for 275 million euros. Out of that 275, I think it was like 33 million went to pay off the other company that was before Oak Tree, the other one that had the minority on. So you're looking at 240 million euros. All right, you get at the minimum. I want to say it's 80, but we're gonna go with 65 million for winning City A. So now you're at about 305 million. All right, you're gonna get 30 million from Champions League. So now you're at about 330 million. Then you're gonna get more revenue from another sponsor that's potentially 30 million. That's what Sunning wants. You're looking at about 330, 360 million coming in just for that. Okay, that money there is going to be used to help clean our debts, get us down from 675 back to 300 million, start getting more positive liquid money and flowing through the club. You're going to have fans back in the stands, so you're going to start getting your gate revenue. This is a one-time thing in the summer that we're going to have to do. And the one thing people fail to realize is Inzaghi's contract is a 2-year deal for that reason. It's a legitimate 2-year deal because he is a caretaker to guide us through the next 2 seasons just to get us to the next big thing. All right? Your job is to make sure that we stay competitive and qualify for Champions League. And that's that. That's just finances in football. It is what it is, my man. But that 80 million is just to start balancing the books out. Again, that's going to go a long way in getting our debts down, making sure payments are made on time, and also to tackle on the thing about Inter deferring payments. Ours were public. Juve's were worse. Juve asked not to pay players till the following year, the following season, till next July. They couldn't afford to make the payments in May. So they asked all the players to defer it to July, the end of July into the next season, because they were suffering worse than us. When it comes to the whole money situation, they were bleeding money from Ronaldo and other players that they contracted with stupid wages. All right. I saw somebody say that Alexis Sanchez needs a pay cut. Okay, let's get one thing straight. Alexis is not getting a pay cut. He doesn't deserve to get a pay cut. He actually saved us money by making sure he came on a free from Man United. That alone saved us 20 million euros. Okay? This is how this works. You're going to pay Alexis without paying him the 7.5 million. He's most likely going to command a 4.5 million euro wage. All right? So you pay 20 million plus 4.5 each year. You're looking at about 34 million euros just to get Alexis. This is not including taxes that you're going to have to pay. All right. You avoid paying that 20 million. You give him the 7.5 for 3 seasons. You're still saving yourself about 13 million euros. So he's not going to take that cut that you're asking. It's just not going to happen. Just putting it out there.
Yeah, and look,
Biggy's in the chat. Thanks for joining again. Sorry, Bruno. It was just I was just going to say to Biggy, because always here from the start, you're going to have to rewind, bro, because we've kind of covered the whole Hakimi conversation already. It's more so he looks like the easiest position that we'd be able to reinforce, considering we've already got some depth in the squad. Bruno, carry on with the financial stuff. I believe.
Yeah. So if let's just take a step back and say, Inter were a Premier League team, 80 million would not be required. Their prize money is absolutely phenomenal. But that's the way, and that's why Agnelli is currently being investigated.
It's
because of the fact
it's so much more than the Champions League. Just
exactly,
to qualify for the Premier League.
But that's why Agnelli's currently being investigated as well, because he was working on a TV rights deal, which was something like 4 billion over 8 years to be given to the clubs, and he let it fall through because it was he wanted. I don't know the full thing, so I'm not going to start shit. But apparently, it was to do with he wanted them to sign with the Super League or some shit like that. But he's also been investigated, criminally investigated at the moment for defrauding the Serie A. So that is not on the newspapers because he owns them. But that is also something as well. But at the same time, we're going to see more issues arising because, yes, the prize money is going to increase, but our broadcaster in Bein is going to start World War III again because it was announced that the Supercoppa Italia is going back to Saudi Arabia. And last time that was announced, I don't know how it was in America, but everyone in Australia went into a fucking frenzy because the simple fact is they cut all television services to us. They go, well, if you're taking it to the country which they're trying to sue for illegally reproducing stuff, well, we're going to cut our Serie A ties, which I can see happening again, right? But that's a different kettle of fish. Overall, our finances are only bad because of COVID. Now, Qantas, an Australian airline, got hit really bad as a business because of COVID. The government helped them. You lose your job. Again, I think the same in America. You're getting handouts from the government to assist you. Doesn't happen in sport. Sport, you take the hit to yourself. And the issue is, yes, Inter's finances are different. Juve has much higher finances, but they've got great financial management and they've got a lot of assets. Inter don't even own their stadium. So our assets are the players you see on the pitch, right? So at the end of the day, our financial position is extremely stable in the sense of we're not going bankrupt. But at the same time, if we want to compete in Europe, if we want to compete and be competitive, we need to reduce our debt, lower our debt, so our financial fair play flags don't start getting flagged and we're not how we were under Spalletti, where we can have, a 5-man squad for Champions League. Because that was just stupid. Here they buy Locatelli, Goss and
No,
they're going to buy everyone. They're going to buy everyone.
I don't even see that possible because they can't even get Donnarumma. They already said
unless Schnezi goes.
He's going to Barca.
I hope he goes to Barca because I'd like to Stegen to come to Inter.
Juve said that they can't sign Donnarumma for the simple fact they don't have money to sign Donnarumma. All right? They have Szczesny still. In order to get Donnarumma, they have to sell Szczesny to raise the money just to pay Donnarumma's contract. So I don't see them buying all those players.
And when you buy Donnarumma, you get 2 players because you need to bring his brother with him too. Mm-hmm. That's the deal he has running. Yep. It is a 2-player deal. You get me, you get my brother.
Sounds like Ibra and Maxi.
Yeah, pretty much. I wanted to speak a little bit about the renewal of Bastoni's contract, which was some good news. And if you're a part of the 19 people here, make sure you leave a like on the video, please. Bastoni's renewal is good. I thought it would be a little bit longer. I thought we could have pushed it to like 25, 26, but still an extension is good. Christian, your thoughts on extending Bastoni, and hopefully it's not just a ploy to get his value up and Pep Guardiola's not sniffing around.
So I remember when they said that Bastoni's contract was put on hold. I figured that Sonny was going to pull something that we do in the United States when it comes to our sports teams. So in the NBA and the NFL, 2 leagues that have salary caps, when a team needs to make their salary cap for that year, what they do is, example, how we got to cut our wages by 25% just for this year. They sit there and be like, all right, we're going to give you $2.5 million this year, but next year you're going to make $4.5 million, and then the following year you're going to make $5.5 million to make up for that gap you're going to get on your first year of the contract, just because we need to save some money. So I'm very curious if Sonning did that with Bastoni's restructure, because they said that Sonning wanted to go back and restructure the contract. Because remember, Bastoni's agent came out and said that all of a sudden they stopped the talks.
Yeah.
I'm very curious if they pulled that.
It wouldn't surprise me.
If they did, though, it's genius. It's absolute genius, because in 2 years, financially, we're going to be set. We're going to be stable again. You got to weather the storm. Again, my main beef with Sonning, their finances are shit in China. Yeah, I agree. My issue with Sonning, and I know everybody was like Sonning out. I was one of the ones saying it. The reason why I had an issue with Sonning was not that they fired Conte. It was in the matter they did it. I think Anthony said it best. She was like, dude, we couldn't even get more than 3 days of celebrating and being happy that we won a Scudetto. And you come and you nuke the world. 3 days after lifting the trophy, you literally drop a nuclear bomb on all of Inter fans. If that isn't the most Pazza Inter thing in the world, I don't know what is. Conte said there's no more Pazza Inter with him. Yeah, as soon as he left the door, boom, welcome back.
Yeah. I think
and I think at the end of the day, that's sorry, Bruno. I'll just say quickly. I think that's the whole Marotta knowing in advance what was coming, knowing that the meltdown was not a matter of if, it was a matter of when. So we might as well put the fire out while it's early and just rebuild from a very small pile of ashes, man. And that's the go with Inzaghi. That is the decision behind Inzaghi, bro. Go on, Bruno.
Oh, definitely, and I think as well. I think the way it happened, and I just feel Suning as a whole, although the owner's son is a fan of the club. So people get confused, right? Suning is owned by Steven Zhang's father. Steven is his son. So the father's pumping money into this kid's hobby, in other words, right? But at the end of the day, I feel this project needs to come to an end soon, right? I don't know what the situation is in America at the moment, but Australia have had some terrible disagreements with China at the moment, and China has absolutely cut all of our exports. So if I want lobster, it is so cheap at the moment because China's not buying any. If I want the premium meat, it's cheap because China's not buying any. Wine, everything. And China as an economy has been booming so fast for so long, but then COVID hit and they realized they're sending everything out of the country. They need to start keeping it in the country. So I feel come 4 or 5 years down the track, you got to remember China's communist, right? Come 4 or 5 years down the track, they're going to limit exposure to the outside. And Suning will be their hands will be extremely tied in what they can and can't do. So I feel while that they're not as restricted at the moment, let's build Inter, find the right buyers, a Qatari or an owner who, like Manchester City, is like, well, Marotta knows how to manage the club. Let him manage the club. Just tell me how much I need, right? Suning, he's too involved, but we saw what happened with their counter-Chinese team. Eda still has not been paid, and the team no longer exists in the league, and they were champions. So if that's happening in their own backyard, 5-6 years is when it's going to start happening to them and their offshore investments. So I feel Suning does need to leave, but we're not just going to drop it and say, here you go, DC Partners, a hedge fund, taken, right? We need to find someone who has the money, is happy to invest. And the best owner I feel in the last 2 decades would have to be Roman Abramovich from Chelsea. Right,
Really?
I feel he has dealt with the club
They're
lot better than
$1.56 billion euros in debt.
Okay, but that's his problem. That's not their problems. The fans don't care about that shit, right? But I feel the way he's built the club around, I don't know. Then you look at the Glazers, and then you look at Bruno is getting his grass-fed steak.
Yeah.
Half price, mate, quarter price, 25%. But
we are
at the end
sidetracking
of the
a
day,
bit, but like, yeah, wrap this topic up because I want to get to the other managers.
yeah, look, at the end of the day, I feel the Suning project needs to come to an end. But we can't just sell the club because we want them gone. We need to find the right owners for Inter.
I
And
just
a
want
team-
a rich oil sheik, bro, so I don't never got to worry about any money ever again.
Yeah, well, that's the whole plan.
That's the whole
what I was
plan and the
thinking.
whole point.
Sama, one of our partners here at Interworldwide, get your uncles on the phone. Let them invest. We need some money, boys.
So we'll go around the table. Last topic of conversation. I wanted because 6 of the top 9 clubs in Serie A have just changed their manager. So that's pretty bizarre and is a horrible reflection of the league, to be honest, no matter what way you look at it. Christian, let's go. Yeah, start with Allegri. Let's not take too long on this topic. Let's wrap it up. But Allegri to Juve, your thoughts and your expectation for them next season.
My thoughts are they went with the safe bet because they knew that they couldn't really go after anybody else. Anybody else outside of Allegri was a failure to them. I also don't think that we're ever in play for Allegri. And also, one last thing on the Sunning thing. This is how quick it happened because if this was really going to happen weeks ago, I think Beppe Marotta would have talked to Allegri ahead of time and worked something out before we got to the point where we were at. Next. I'm done with Allegri.
I think Allegri was the safe bet.
How do you think? Where do you think they could finish next season, Christian?
Top 3.
Top 3. Okay. Well, your prediction on Juventus was very accurate this season, so I'm hoping you're right again.
Their team is still shit. No matter how you spend it, and they're not going to spend much money. So. It is what it is, and Ronaldo's going to leave, and they may get one player, but I don't think they're going to get a player that's going to take them to the next level. There's nobody out there.
Fair enough. Bruno Spalletti at Napoli?
Still not confirmed. They said it's most probably happening. I reckon he's a great fit for Napoli. I think Napoli don't have the team to challenge for Champions League at the moment. With the likes of Mourinho coming into Roma, and Milan being where they are, who knows what's happening with Pioli? But I think Spalletti is the manager to provide stability.
I think he'll do well. I think he's going to have a very similar season to the first season that he had with us.
So my thing with that is they still have the X factor at Napoli that's gonna fuck everything up. He's gonna if he would have just shut the fuck up, Gattuso would have got it done. Gattuso's not a bad manager.
Yeah.
What about Mourinho to Roma?
That was the next one. Mourinho to Roma.
Mourinho's washed, bro. I mean, I'm sorry. His football hasn't evolved. It's 2021 and you're still playing 2010 football.
Perfect league for him. Perfect league and a club that was on a sinking ship in 7th, bro. If Roma could come 4th, and that'll be one of my locks for next season. Roma in 4th next season, bro.
If Roma finishes in 4th, he's a god. But in actuality, to me, he's just not top coach anymore. He's falling off. He's falling off a lot. He hasn't evolved. I don't know if it's an ego thing or what it is, but the rails just fell off the wagon. That's just my opinion when it comes to Mourinho. He hasn't done anything. He didn't do anything with Tottenham. Tottenham was that project that if Mourinho would have did something with them and finished even in the top 4, it would have been like, okay, Mourinho's not losing his touch. He didn't finish in the top 4, so now it's like
you got him to a cup final.
To what?
A cup final.
Cup final, and then he was sacked.
Did he win?
He was sacked the week. No, he was sacked the week off. He didn't
6
get to
days
compete.
before the final. They sacked him.
You guys sacked the week of a final. That tells me you're definitely washed.
Yeah, but you got to think Roma's a club very much like Tottenham. They've got in their trophy cabinet nothing at the moment. Nothing. They are exactly. Thank you, Biggie. Roma is the Spurs of the Serie A, and I think with Zaniolo coming back at full, I'm hoping as a Italy fan, I hope he plays Euros. But as a Roma fan and a Mourinho fan, I'm hoping he doesn't and he comes back to Roma fully fit. And I think with that, I think Mourinho will be able to achieve something. I don't see him winning a Scudetto. I don't see that happening at all. But I do see. I don't know.
He's gonna get.
I honestly don't know.
To me, he's gonna get 5th place. That's where I'm gonna put him at. I'm gonna put him in 5th.
What about the Conference League? Does he win that?
Yeah, because he's a bunch of shit clubs.
Still a trophy.
I don't put him in the top
does he have to play in that? Does Mourinho have to play in the Conference League? That's fucking funny.
Yeah, but think about it though. Let's just look at it. Do you think Atalanta is gonna fall off?
I do a little bit, but
yes,
yeah, I do a little bit.
I don't know. I don't know. I feel they're going to get. I think they're gonna get sliced and diced. They've got too many talents that will be able to be lured elsewhere.
With what money? All the big teams are strapped on cash.
Not in Italy. And we saw what happened with, I forgot his name, but they made sure he did not go to an Italian club.
I still think Atalanta is going to finish top 4. I still think Milan, Juve, and Inter all finish in the top 4. I think Roma finished in 5th, and they're only going to be maybe 3 to 5 points off. They're going to be off the pace by like 3 to 5 points. And they're going to be more competitive. So they're going to be like, yay, we're not a shit club anymore. We're back. We're in 5th place. Well, Champions League next season.
Yeah, just flirting with almost making it back. That's a good call. Who's going to coach Milan next season?
Pioli's on fire.
Only Milan will be able to turn an insult and and celebrate with it. Like, only Milan will be able to do that.
Bro, I think that like next season, like Zlatan's going to get a couple of injuries straight away. I don't know how much money they've got to invest in this Mercato, but if they go into next season with that squad, they're not going to get 20 penalties worth of pot luck again, bro.
Well, they're going with the
Champions
same team
League.
because there was reports already that Milan asked to defer the payments for Tonali, and Brescia have the option to say no because Milan only wants the defer that so they can make another purchase this offseason. It's not like they don't have the money. They have it. They just want to buy somebody else. All right, Anthony, as much as you're yawning, is it 1 a.m., 2 a.m. almost there in Australia?
Bro, don't talk to me about sleep and catching up after this season, bro. Nah, to be honest, this season was easy. Bruno, how good were those 4:45 a.m. wake-ups this season, bro? That was the best.
You know what?
That was the best, bro.
Play
some good football.
Even the 1 a.m. games, we'd stay awake all the way through to 1 a.m., celebrate the victory at 3 a.m. until 5 a.m. with the rest of the crew because we're buzzing and then we're off to work the next day. But purely, I don't know. Who coaches Lazio next season?
I love this comment. Zlatan will coach AC.
Yeah, it was Zlatan has already coached AC. But who coaches Lazio next season?
Yeah, I don't even know. There's no names out there.
There's a few names that could fly around. You could have Matsari, Mihailovic, Ranieri. I don't know.
Why?
I feel that
not good enough, and why
they're going to lose a lot of players. Lazio. I feel they're going to lose a lot of players. I just think, Ciro, he's got nothing left in him to go to another club and be an appetizing striker at the age he's at, but they've got some star talent there that can get poached. Milinkovic, Acerbi, Luis Alberto. So there is some talent that I don't know. I can. If they don't sign someone ASAP, I think they're finishing 12th, 13th.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a big call.
That's
a big
me
drop.
being straight up. If they can't sign a coach, they're going to lose their players, and those players who had the taste of Champions League and the taste of round of 16 have gone straight back down to Europa League, and now they've got no one to lead them there. They're gonna struggle, right? And De Zerbi's off the shotgun now, so it wouldn't surprise me. But I think we're still getting that second start next season.
Yeah.
That would be really, really nice. That would be really nice. Gentlemen, that's where we're going to leave it at. It's been a really, really nice hour. So there'll be plenty more to talk about because the media just can't keep us out of their mouths, and it'll just keep going on and on. The merry-go-round continues. So thank you very much from the 1 a.m. Christian Rivas.
Yeah, no problem. 2 a.m.
2 a.m. Sorry. We'll speak soon. And to the lovely Bruno, speak soon, bro.
Talk soon. Ciao.
All right, guys, if you're still in the stream, make sure you don't forget to like and subscribe. And let's just talk a little bit about some content that's coming over the next couple days and week or two. We have a podcast coming up on Wednesday next week. And we'll be looking at doing some content tomorrow after the Champions League final as well. So once again, if you're on Facebook, thank you, and YouTube to the 17, now 18 people still here. Make sure you like and subscribe if you are new. From all of us here at Inter Worldwide, Forza Inter. Ciao, ragazzi.